Pauline's mission was to meet with Margaret Petkoff, the occupational therapist at Polio Services Victoria. An occupational therapist can offer an assessment of how an individual polio survivor is living and managing their energy. People like Margaret can quickly establish if a person is wasting energy on basic household tasks simply because their home is not modified properly.
The role of occupational therapy is a varied one, primarily because it's a client-focused service. And also the age ranges of the polio survivors varies from young adults or even older teenagers to quite elderly people. So the sort of things that occupational therapy would look at are really related to people's activities of daily living, and those sorts of things would include their personal activities of daily living, so how people manage in their home environment, whether they're having difficulties in relation to performing showering and dressing, toileting, accessing their home, getting in and out of their bed, getting on and off a kitchen chair, and also whether that person is at risk at home of falls as a result of difficulties with their mobility. It's a matter of them identifying to me what their problem is, and we work together to try to solve that. And because people's houses are varied, their social circumstances are varied, the sort of intervention I provide will be very different to different people. We also look at community type intervention, which would be looking at people's access to the community. So if you've got somebody that's having difficulties accessing their local shops or their doctor or those sorts of issues, then I would be discussing that with the client and then working out whether they need maybe a scooter or an electric wheelchair. Really, there is no real recipe for occupational therapy. It really is very much dependent upon the client's needs at that time, and that's influenced by their living arrangements and their social situation, and also whether they work as well.
Pauline has always been a very active person. She has renovated more than 30 houses over the past 20 years. It's not unusual to find her up a ladder making repairs to one of the many projects she takes on. Post-polio syndrome may have slowed her down a bit, but she's determined to find ways of compensating for her condition, which for Pauline is essential, as her passion for collecting clocks means that there's always housework to do.
Well, actually, I didn't realise that the polio had come back to haunt me until a few years ago, only about 3 or 4 years ago. I'd had numerous operations on my legs and treatments for different things going wrong, and I hadn't even thought about having the polio because it was gone by the time I was 14. And I actually had an operation on my knee to correct my knee because I was in agony, and I did similar things with my leg, and the operation didn't work. And I just happened to mention, quite by accident, about the polio, and the specialist said then, this is probably what's done your knee. Nothing to do with fair wear and tear.